welcome to Irungu Kang'ata, the Senator for Murang'a, and also the Majority Chief Whip, and Senator Aaron Cheruiyot, Kericho Senator. They're still all with us. Senator Cheruiyot, before we took that break, I asked you this question, that this meeting that you allege that you're not invited to, and Kang'ata says you are invited to, was chaired by the head of state himself. Do you have confidence in the leadership of the Jubilee Party, especially the head of state?
Trevor, before I answer that question, let me remind you again that Irungu Kang'ata is not the whip of the Senate. Please, Trevor, why are you being co-opted into a script? Trevor.
Go ahead and answer. Is the Murang'a Senator, Trevor. That's fine. You will square that out in the Senate tomorrow in the Parliament. So for now, do you have confidence in the leadership of Jubilee?
I have a lot of doubts and questions about the leadership of Jubilee Party. If I had met President Uhuru Kenyatta today, and it's unfortunate that I wasn't invited to the meeting, I would have reminded him that despite the fact that he's our party leader, he has a higher responsibility of being the President of the Republic of Kenya. We are in the middle of a global health pandemic. More than 70% of the citizens of this country are not now in gainful employment thanks to the effects of COVID. They are not reporting to work. There are people who are in lockdown and they are crying out for food in Old Town Mombasa, in Isili. I saw demonstrations today. And we have all these other challenges that the people that, for example, I expect my president to be engaging is not Irungu Kang'ata, but maybe President Xi Jinping of China, trying to reschedule our debt and engage him on other issues, how we can ensure that we cushion Kenyans from the effects of COVID. But we shouldn't be. It is so shameful that amidst a global pandemic of this magnitude, Trevor, the ruling party has time for this kind of monkey business. It is shameful to say the least, and I do not take it kindly. I do not expect that the people I represent expect that I will occupy my time as their representative in Parliament haggling over who should be leader of the party and those kind of things. They expect me to speak on how much funds we are sending to the county to cushion them from effects of COVID and those kind of discussions, how we can progressively move this country forward, Trevor.
Senator Kang'ata, they insist on calling this monkey business. Was the head of state there during the meeting?
Well, no. Thank you for that question. First and foremost, allow me to rebut some of the issues that have been raised by my brother there. Yes, it is true. Kenya is currently facing a lot of challenges, particularly challenges arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic. The president is making every effort to address those issues. For instance, he has been sending money to the poor in slums through what we call cash transfer programs. The president has come up with a very good team that is updating Kenyans on measures the government is doing to address that pandemic from a health point of view. The government is also sending support to various counties. But surely a majority leader and a chief whip who are now opposing those notions. I would imagine if you're a majority leader and a chief whip, you should be echoing what the government is doing. You should be telling Kenyans what efforts the government is doing from a policy point of view or maybe even from a legislative point of view. Remember, you're the majority leader. You ought to have brought interventions at the Senate or parliamentary level. But instead of that, we had a majority leader who was just bashing government, who was just criticizing government. For me, that was insubordination, a very good ground for dismissal of that official from the position that person was holding. That does not mean, as a party, we do not allow freedom and expression of divergent opinions. No. What we usually do is come to a PG, express that divergent opinion, come discuss debates, and after that, go and champion the cause of the party. By the way, it is a legal provision, Political Parties Act expressly provides that you can resign constructively. To me, Murkomen and my sister Kehika had resigned from the party constructively. When they started fighting the president, fighting the agenda of the party called Jubilee Party, to me that was a resignation. And therefore what we did, by the way, today, we were just assisting them to go home, because that's exactly what they have been doing. Now, in regard to my brother arguing that this issue ought not to have happened, whereas we are having other issues that the president ought to have addressed or ought to be addressing, I beg to differ, because we do have an agenda that the president needs to be done in Parliament. Remember, currently there is what we call a bill that is being discussed, that has been proposed by a committee headed by my brother Sakaja. So we expect the chief whip, we expect the majority leader to push through that agenda. But if you have a majority leader, a chief whip, whose work is to curtail the government business, surely you had to take action.
Kangata, Senator Kangata, you sound to me.
Can I give you one example?
You sound to me like you were elected simply because you are towing the line of the party and would not speak against it. Is that what you're saying?
Not really true. I can tell you that whenever we have PG, we always raise issues, we always give the president new ideas. Today we had a very robust discussion. Senators raised several issues which they would want the executive to give direction. But once we get out of the PG, it goes without saying you have to support the party, you have to explain the party's position. Now, let me explain one point which for me was very negative, which happened just the last week. There's a committee that is called Committee of Delegated Legislation. Members of Parliament, senators from Jubilee Party, were whipped to support members who are not from our party. We lost 2 positions. My brother Pogisio lost the position of the chairman. My sister, also a member of Jubilee Party, nominated senator from northern Kenya. She lost the position of the vice chair of that legislated committee. And the people who are whipping members to support the opposition, they are the leaders of our good party. To me, that is unfair. We need to support the party. We need to support the president. That is why we are members of Jubilee Party. It is provided for under our constitution. It is provided for under the Political Parties Act. Also, the Constitution has sections and articles dealing with political parties. And we as members of political parties, we are supposed to uphold party discipline. This is not unique with Kenya. Go to any democracy in the entire world. Party discipline is very important.
Okay, let's bring up a tweet here by Senator Pogisio now. We'll just come up. I want to bring it to your screen so that you see what he said. He said, I take this opportunity to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta for my appointment and having strong faith in KANU. Let's focus on the challenges ahead of us, especially at this pandemic time. At Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, you served well. Take a break now and watch how we run this show. Senator Cheruiyot, do you see a reason as to why these changes had to take place? Was there some level of incompetence in the leadership of the Senate?
No. What existed is exactly what Kangata is describing. The fact that there appears to be a desire in the executive to have people that will coil their tails between their legs and not speak truth to power. Senator Kangata, as a lawyer, as an age mate, and a colleague, I am embarrassed on behalf of the people of Murang'a. I am embarrassed because you cannot be telling the country that the work you are elected for is to come and push the agenda of the president in parliament. That is not only shameful, but it is totally wrong and misleading. Read your constitution, Article 94 of the Constitution of Kenya, on what the role of members of parliament are. Legislate, oversight, represent. That is exactly what we should be doing. They need to understand that there is a difference between fighting the president and correcting, putting things into perspective every time you do not agree with this decision. For a fact, to the best of my knowledge, and Trevor, I've been in Senate longer than Irungu Kangata, there is not a single day that as Parliament we have received a bill from the executive and Murkomen has lost a single bill or legislation that have been given by the executive and say, please pass the following through Senate. Therefore, I do not understand on what basis you would say that he's fighting the president. If it is about disagreements or having a difference of opinion, then the reason why there have been a difference of opinion, Trevor, in Jubilee is because as a party, despite our constitution demanding that our parliamentary group should meet at least once every quarter, we have never had a parliamentary group since a PG meeting since 2017. 3 years down the line, our party leader calls a meeting, and not to listen to people and say what are the issues that have been coming, to try and come up with this kind of changes. I mean, it's completely absurd. I do not expect that of a leader that I hold in such high esteem. And I want to appeal to President Uhuru Kenyatta that if he was indeed part of this meeting, because up to now, I do not believe that the president I voted to can be engaged in this kind of business that was going on today. So, to the best of my knowledge, Trevor, that is where the challenge in Jubilee came in, where we stopped meeting, we stopped considering other people's opinion, where we were all set up in line to have this kind of Kangata mentality, where you believe that anything that the president has said is equal to the voice of God. You should not have a differing opinion. Yes, it is clearly stated, and I'm sure you have seen on many occasions, Trevor, a video where the president was speaking at that parliamentary group meeting, the last one that we had in 2017, where he addressed us and said that within the parliamentary group meeting, we shall allow differences of opinion. You will say that which you want to say, nobody will be victimized, and after that, we shall agree on a particular line, and that is what will be expected. If the president hasn't presented Jubilee members of parliament with that opportunity, then people are bound to speak in other avenues, and that is what has exactly happened. Lack of consultation, lack of regarding the organs of the party. You see what Secretary General Raphael Tuju tried to do the other day, where he sits down with 2 and 3 other friends. They purport to make changes to the National Management Committee. I have to keep reminding these people that Jubilee is a national party. It is a publicly funded institution. You cannot run it like a kiosk where 2 or 3 people sit and do whatever they want to do with the party. That is not how institutions work. And that is the problem with our political party. Therefore, we want to demand that there must be respect for the Constitution. We must lead by example and show that as a party we have respect for the rule of law. Respect for the rule of law demands that we obey what the Constitution says. We obey what the Senate standing order say in terms of leadership, what the Jubilee Party Constitution says if we want to enter into a post-election coalition as what they are trying to do with KANU. We are open to all those things, but the simple things that we are telling you, Kangata and company, just follow the law. Do what is expected of you according to what is written down in the Jubilee Party Constitution. If you do that, nobody will have a problem with you. Okay. Everybody will support you. But so long as you are engaged in this kind of games, look at the kind of embarrassing situation you now have put the president in, where a communication has been issued by his press secretary, where she claims that there was a Jubilee parliamentary group. She cannot provide pictures to ascertain the same. She cannot provide a list of senators to confirm who was present in that meeting. You cannot send a communication to the speaker because you know very well that it will be null and void, because it will be established that out of the 35 Jubilee senators, there were hardly 8 that were in that particular meeting today. And by the way, Trevor, I had Kangata saying that he's going to pull some magic between now and tomorrow morning, so that when there is a House Business Committee, Pogisio will sit in. Pogisio cannot sit in for the simple reason that up to this particular time, Kangata still has his list and money in his boot, moving around this city, trying to convince people to sign on a document. They have told him that we cannot be party to this kind of games.
Okay. Kangata, why don't you just realign with the rest of the senators then? Why are you bulldozing your ideas if this was a collective Jubilee opinion? Why don't you just realign with them and come up with a list where no party will be complaining of being sidelined?
My brother, for that question. Now, we made every effort to afford an opportunity for every senator to be heard. What else would you expect the party to do? We called a meeting, we gave sufficient notice, every senator was supposed to come. In fact, I'm surprised when I look at the names that are being banded around by my brothers from the other side, the so-called Tanga guys. I realize the vast majority of those people attended today's meeting. They even signed. In fact, Cheruiyot, what you should be doing today is to show me evidence of people signing in a document showing that indeed they did not attend. You know, to me, the issue of our signature is very clear. If we forged any signature, you can take us to court. You can report us. But tomorrow I'll give you a document clearly with all the senators who attended. We appended their signatures. And then we shall know who is talking the truth. Is it us or you? I can tell you we are talking the truth. Well, you have heard also my brother allude to the fact that they have always wanted a parliamentary group meeting. Exactly. They were given one opportunity today. They were told to come, they air their grievances, they refused to come. They refused to attend. What else could we have done? Murkomen and Susan, they have served their term. By the way, there is nothing new. There's nothing so major with them vacating their position. Remember, so many other senators usually serve for a certain period of time and vacate their position. Let's say chairman of a certain committee. A good example is like my brother Moses Kajuang was the chairman of Public Accounts Committee from 2017 up to this year. He has vacated. A new chairman will be elected. And so forth, and many other examples. We must embrace a culture where you serve and agree to vacate after you lose confidence of the people who support you. But now I'm seeing a situation where people want to be like, I don't know which other, I don't know, like Maduro, the president of Venezuela, or Mugabe, the deceased president of Zimbabwe. People want to stay in power, or President Biya of Cameroon. They want to die in office. Please, you have served the Senate for the last, I don't know, 2-3 years. Give others an opportunity to serve as well.
Against you, Kangata. You can hear from what Aaron Cheruiyot is saying. Some of the senators are against you. How will you serve?
No, who is against me? We got vast majority of the votes. I'm telling you, today's meeting, so many senators came, and tomorrow I'll be giving you that list.
Okay.
It's only that we are people who follow procedures. We do not do whatever we did today so that we ambush anyone. We are not in a hurry. We want to follow the law. Tomorrow we shall tender evidence before the Speaker of every senator who attended today's meeting. And I can tell you our evidence is cogent. Even if you make an attempt to go to the Political Parties Tribunal or to the High Court, you cannot get any evidence to overturn the decision that was made today.
All right.
Because it was very procedural.
Yeah.
We adhered to the rules of natural justice.
Yeah.
And therefore, we ensured that we give every person an opportunity to be heard.
Okay. Senator Cheruiyot, I have a tweet here from Gadunguni Jr., who says, from my personal perspective, I think Jubilee Party is now being run as a one-man party. President Uhuru Kenyatta has betrayed his ally, William Ruto, who tirelessly played a role for him to clinch the presidential seat. Do you feel like the president has betrayed his main ally?
I mean, you'll have to be the only man in Jerusalem if you still think that that has not happened. Look, he's ridiculed on newspapers on each and every day. People who, before 2017 election, were nowhere near this government are now calling shots here and there. The people, you know, the most absurd thing about Jubilee right now is that the more you contributed to the success of Jubilee, is that now you're paid in more pain actually by this particular administration. And therefore, it's like there's a list of who made the most sacrifice to ensure Jubilee comes into power. Then they use the same list to punish you. And those who ridiculed us, those who never voted for this administration, are increasingly being given the space, to speak out and appear to be influential. They're invited into state functions. They are all over. This kind of politics is long gone by. I do not think it is right that even as a nation we sanction this. Trevor, let me ask you a very simple question. What does it say in terms of our value systems when you see the kind of humiliation and the kind of things that are being meted out on the deputy president, and we just want to make it as if, since it's politics, it's all fun. What are we teaching the next generation? That today you can go out, campaign with a man, say this will be my deputy, he will be my principal assistant, that I will support him, that I'll be honorable towards him. Then tomorrow, once you get into office, you do completely the opposite. Thanks to what has happened in Jubilee and the kind of humiliation that is being meted on William Ruto, let me tell you something, Trevor. The next time elections are around the corner, it will be very difficult to get gentlemen to sit down and agree on anything. Even for an MCA post, everybody will want that you deposit something as high a body as even the Supreme Court, so that you're sure, because people will be looking back and will be quoting William Ruto as an example and saying, look at him. He behaved like a gentleman. He respected his party leader. But what did he get in return? All his friends are being humiliated. Anybody who is associated with him is being fought as if they are terrorists in this administration. It's a shame. And it's about time we be honest with each other and say, this is not what we promised Kenyans. If the president, for whatever reason, feels that he has lost the confidence of his deputy, then he owes it to the millions of voters that voted for Jubilee and went alongside with them on the campaign trails and sought their endorsement to lead this country, to at least explain it to them and saying, the reason why I feel my ministers should no longer report or be seen anywhere, at least engage with my principal assistant, is because of the following charges, but not to be engaged in the kind of games that you are seeing. It is really unfortunate. It sets a very bad example that as adults, even young children, let me tell you something, Trevor, do not be deceived that young kids don't watch the kind of things that are happening in this country. They watch and they wonder, what kind of a country is this, where a leader can say this, tomorrow they completely go and do the opposite, and we just live as if it is normal. They co-opt people in the media to spin narratives, and appear to be trivializing the issues. When a leader who occupies an office as high as that of a deputy president, as high as that of a president, doesn't live up to the expectation of the office that they hold, doesn't live by the kind of public pronouncements that they made, it tells you something is deeply rotten in that society. And it's not a good example. Okay. Therefore, I call upon my colleagues who are in leadership, even Irungu Kangata, that you're speaking, he knows the truth. He knows that in that list, he does not have more than 15 Jubilee senators at most, the best he can do. Because I have assured you, Trevor, that this evening at 5 o'clock, I signed on a list, and I wish Whip of Senate, Senator Susan Kihika, was still awake and watching the show. I would have asked him to WhatsApp you the list that he has in our possession, where more than 20 Jubilee senators have signed on and saying, one, we were not party to that decision, and therefore our position is that the leadership of the Senate remains as was.
Senator Kangata, are you reading from the same script? Do you see some level of betrayal? While you're in State House, did you see the deputy president there as the deputy party leader? Was he there?
No, he was not there, but I can tell you and I can confirm to the nation that his seat was there. He made a decision not to come. I don't know why. In fact, I was very surprised because this meeting was open to every person. His seat was reserved for him to attend. I don't know why he decided not to come. Now, there is nothing to do with betrayal. My brother, Cheruiyot, I think people go far when they become humble, when you become a person who is accommodative to his enemies, a person who does what Jesus told us, love your enemies, keep your enemies, treat them well. And here, when I mean enemy, I don't mean a person that you dislike. I mean, let's say, your political rival. Even, let's say, for instance, you are vying for the political position of a senator or even a governor. The person who you defeat, you must always think about that person. So, I don't understand. President Uhuru Kenyatta made a conscious effort to go and accommodate the people he was competing against. By doing that, my brother Cheruiyot saying, oh, this guy is rewarding the people we defeated. Surely, we shall never go forward with the politics of what we call winner take all. We have seen that kind of politics destroying nations. We have seen that kind of politics where you exclude certain communities from political center. It breeds problems. So, surely, we have been in this world, we have seen chaos in places like Yemen, in Syria, in places like Lebanon.
Yeah.
You have seen even in advanced societies like Britain, Northern Ireland, we saw a conflict for so many years based on what we call confessional divisions.
Yeah. So what is your final word?
Currently, we are seeing a problem in a place called Catalonia in Spain. So the idea of President Uhuru Kenyatta trying to bring all communities together, to me, that is the best foundation. And that is the rationale of him going towards to bring our brothers who are competing against us in 2017. And for me, that is how you build a country. You go and bring all your political competitors. You tell them, no, what are we fighting for? If at all you want to bring ideas to contribute to nation building, come, give me ideas. Proceed, we go together. President Uhuru, at no moment did he say that he has an issue with his deputy. I'm surprised the kind of narrative my brother from Kericho is spinning. There's no humiliation President Uhuru Kenyatta has done against any leader. What he did is try to bring all Kenyans. He appreciated our competitors had very strong support in Nyanza, in Coast, in Western Kenya. And surely those regions, they're also part of Kenya. If the president had not done that, I can tell you, maybe this country would have been split up into two.
Let's give Cheruiyot a chance to wind this up. Cheruiyot, you said that you are calling for people to speak truth to power. What is your truth to power right now?
Let's cut the nonsense. Senator Irungu Kangata.
Oh, you hear that the kind of language my brother is using? Nonsense?
You cannot be talking about uniting the country when the opposite. There is, if you went out on the streets, Trevor, with your camera and your mic, and ask Kenyans if they are more united post-2017 after all these things that have happened now, or they are more divided. The answer, 90% of Kenyans will tell you that the truth is that we are more divided as a society, thanks to the kind of games that are going on in this administration. And therefore, it will be a lie to say that there is anybody who is opposed to, I want to believe that he was talking about the handshake. I have never seen the deputy president speak publicly anywhere and say that I do not agree with what my party leader has done. To the best of my knowledge, he has remained humble. He has remained respectful towards the president. And therefore, this kind of escapism that you're being fed on every now and then, that, oh, he's not supportive. If a leader like myself doesn't believe that there is any genuineness in the handshake, that will not in convents mean that the deputy president doesn't agree. He's a leader elected by his own right. I'm elected to represent the people of Kericho. And if the handshake does not make any sense to us, I will say it as it is, because it is.
Is there a plan to walk out of the party, Senator?
Yes, there is a plan to walk out of the party by those who are carrying out this monkey business. But I have told you, those who are sticklers for the rule of law, we shall remain in Jubilee.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
You understand that, Trevor?
We really ran out of time now. Thank you for your time. Honorable Irungu Kangata, Murang'a Senator, and Honorable Aaron Cheruiyot, Kericho Senator, speaking to us about the leadership wrangles that is happening right now. We'll see how this turns out in the next coming days there. Let's bring up what you're saying online and see what your sentiments are. To put them up on the screen right now. Brayo Casillas Says Jubilee Party has always been a time bomb waiting to go off. Individual preferences seem to be the tune, and that's not the definition of leading by example. This will end up in a total humiliation and embarrassment to some figures. All right, let's bring up another one here, still on Twitter. The hashtag is Monday Report at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. That's how you get in touch with us. Coach TK says Jubilee is dead. Both parliaments are on the deathbed. It's a matter of time. Kenyans should brace for tough times ahead. All right, let's see what else you're saying here, still on Twitter. The hashtag is Monday Report. It's currently at #1. That's all you're talking about right now. Naltitu says James Orengo prophecy coming to pass, a revolution eating its own children. All right, let's see what else is still there. If we can sample a few of them before we completely run out of time here. That's on Twitter still. Mudev Maxwell says the writing was already on the wall and it was just a question of when and not if this could be effected. Game is on. All right, there's still more here at Citizen TV Kenya. Trevor Mbija, hashtag Monday Report. Crimstone Crim says Jubilee Party cracked long time ago. Let Senator Aaron Cheruiyot explain why it's becoming too hard for his team to bear the punch or the pinch. Where were they when the meeting was on? Let them stop sideshows for the sake of sympathy from the public. All right, let's see if there's anything else we can sample really fast. Squeeze in a few of them before we call it a night. There's a lot of feedback here. Reggie Joy says, starting with the president himself, all these leaders are self-centered. I mean, how would they all be into politics in such a time? Good question there. Let's see what else you're saying as the final one before we wrap it up here on the Monday Report. Thank you so much for watching. Aimuhoho says Jubilee Party is at its full-blown stage. It will collapse. All right. And that's where we leave it for now. This has been the Monday Report. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Trevor Mbija. Always a pleasure having you with us. Remember, we're still battling the COVID-19. All right, so stay safe, stay clean, wash your hands, stay at home if you can. All right, thank you so much for watching. Good night.